Hi, welcome to Lifestyle Medicine Center's Thursday evening class. Tonight, we're going to talk about vision boards. My name is Jennifer Whitehead. I'm one of the stress management specialists here at the Lifestyle Medicine Center. So we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to have a little fun tonight and talk about vision boards. What is a vision board? What do you do with it? Maybe you've done it before, maybe you haven't. So tonight we're going to talk about how to make one, how to really use it, break it down, and make it work for you. Now, this isn't a guarantee, right? It does take time. It takes work, but it's really a way to hone in all of that creative energy that you have flowing on, all of those goals, and not just your goals, but also a way to see even your achievements. So really having something to look at to show you where you've gone, where you've already been, and where you're going to go. So let's talk about what is a vision board first. A vision board is just a collage of a bunch of pictures that are inspiring to you. It could be words, it could be pictures, but they're things that really inspire you. Not only inspire you towards your goals, they really show what those goals are, but there also can be affirmations, things that uplift you, keep you going. And there are also things that maybe you've achieved. So you can still see where you've gone. We always want to keep things positive when you're thinking about these goals and writing these goals. Now, when you think about your goals, let's think about what is it? Like, okay, so we want to think about health goals, wellness goals, and also happiness. Those are really important things in our lives. But not just thinking of health and wellness and happiness as a lifestyle of just what we're eating and how we're moving and our stress. There's a lot more to all of those dynamics, and your career can be one of those. Your relationships can be one of those dynamics to happiness or wholeness, wellness. There can be a multitude of things that really meaningful to you. And everybody's different. So what is meaningful to you is going to be different from someone else. So remembering that and start to think about that as we start to dive into this class tonight. What are some things that are important to you? What does happiness mean to you? What does health mean to you? What does wellness mean to you? So just start to simmer on those three things. So what is that, right? And as we go on, and I'll break it down a little bit more so you go, well, what am I going to do with all that, right? So we'll break it down a little bit more step by step tonight. We'll break it down. How do we find our goals? How do we make those goals where we can see the structure of them? How do we really visualize that? And what else can we do to make it even more powerful for us? So thinking about also, you want to think about 1 to 5 to 10 years. So kind of keeping goals in that range from 1, 5 to 10 years, right? And what would be make you happy? What would encourage you? What are the things you want to accomplish within those times, right? So step one, let's talk about this. Just really dig in there. Just really dig in for a moment and start to think, what are my goals, right? And maybe you don't do that right now. Maybe you set some time aside later on and you just jot down the kind of steps, right? It's just what works, right? So think about that, right? Step one, really reflect on those 1, 5, and 10 year goals. Um, and it doesn't have to be that broad if you don't want to. Maybe think about what is it for 2021 right now? Like this year, what is it this year that you really want to focus on? Okay, what are those goals? What would it feel like? What do you want to look like by that time? Right? So come up with, start to come up with those goals, start to identify them. And then we want to start to move on a little bit and really start to identify some steps to get there. So maybe your goal is to lose 50 pounds this year. That could be a goal, right? How could you do that? How could you break down, well, maybe I can lose 2 pounds a week, right? And that would be breaking that goal down. Well, in order to lose those 2 pounds a week, I'm going to get more active and I'm going to work out 3 or 4 times a week. And then I'm going to cut out you know, processed foods or whatever it is, you know, your goal. So start to break it down. What does it look like? How can you get to that goal? Right? If your goal is to, you know, certify in something or go on a vacation this year to somewhere special, what kind of steps would that take, right? Do you need to start to put a little bit of money aside here, right? Maybe work a little bit more here. So how do you attain that? You maybe need to start researching, where do you want to go? You know, start to think that. Maybe you want to go to Rome, maybe you want to go to Paris or Big Springs, wherever you want to go, right? So start to break that down. What does it look like? What are the steps to get there? And then just starting to ask yourself, if you're wanting to do a little bit broader, what in your view is kind of like the good life to get there? Like, what is your good life, you know, feel like for this year? So if you're thinking of 2021, like, what is that? What does it look like? What is the most awesome year that could ever be for you, right? And jot those down. And I'm giving a lot more examples because I want you to write down a lot of, like, really write down goals, like for 2021, right? We'll just say this year. Write them down. I mean, it could be, I want to be a personal trainer and I want to, you know, help people get fit. Whatever this, write that down. Get as wild as you want. Like, how awesome could you be this year? Write it down. And then what really makes it valuable? What makes it worth living? Right? What is that makes it, what is that makes it inspiring to you? How does that make you feel when you see yourself doing that, right? So starting to look for that inspiration, kind of those affirmations that are going to keep you positive. So just jotting those down, right? And then a little bit broader, like what would it, like what would you want people to think? Like, where are you putting your fingerprint, right, in the space? So can you think a little bit more, like, what are you kind of giving back? Is there a way where, you know, you could, is it volunteering? Is that a way that you feel like you're putting your stamp on the world? You know, kind of, what am I bringing right now? For me, you know, I like to work in with different things, volunteering, just to say that. So kind of think about that. Is that something that's important to you? You know, being able to give back, and write that down. You know, maybe this is the year that you go and you apply to be a volunteer somewhere. You know, those are really good things to do. And you, it's really surprising how amazing it is when you finally get to accomplish that, even as something as small as volunteering. But what are the steps you're going to go? Okay, well, where can I volunteer? Let's research that, right? Where is it? How do I have to apply? And then start moving those steps. Who do I have to call, right? And then let's even more break it down a little bit, right? To keep it more inspirational, more positive. So we're thinking about what activities and what hobbies kind of do you enjoy that you might want to get better on. So thinking about in kind of that range, and start to jot that down, right? What is it that I like to do? What activities, what hobbies do I want to get better at them this year? What do you want to be better, right? Just in general, what do you want to be better at? What are your career goals, if that's important, right? Uh, and what steps do you need to take to get that dream job? Like, what do you need to do to get there? You know, is it maybe just pick up and, you know, show up a little bit more and, you know, bring a positive attitude at your job to get a little bit noticed? Is it, you know, going out in the community, meeting people? So what would it look like? And then you got to think about, how do I get there a little bit? So dig into there, like really dissect it a little bit. It's a little science, right? Like in science class, we had the little frog. So think about that. How can you break down that bigger goal that you have, right? And then once you start to break that down, again, we're just kind of just taking notes and seeing what that is. And then even thinking about your relationship. You know, for me, I think that this year would be a great year to find even more connection in my marriage, right? So whether you're in a relationship, whether you're not, whether you want kids. So write some of those things down. Like, what are your relationship goals? What would happiness and health and wellness in your relationships look like, even in, maybe some of our family relationships. So maybe getting and spending more time with the family. So what does that look like, right? So we can start to really see, is this something that's important to me right now? And just think about it. It might not be, and that's okay. But again, we want to break down those steps. How can I build communication with my spouse? How can I, put myself in a place where I meet my future spouse, right? What is, again, wherever you are, think about that. And then again, how do you want to be remembered? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to, again, volunteer? What is it that you want to do? How do you want to just be in the space you're in? And then from there, let's think about, maybe choosing a theme. So when I say a theme, I want you to look at all of those different kind of different goals, maybe that you've written down that were important to you, and start to notice which one really did they start to stand out. Maybe they blended a little bit, right? Maybe your health and your happiness was kind of connected to maybe fitness, and maybe, maybe the way that you're, eating, things like that. Just start to notice that. Maybe your relationship, maybe there's issues because there's some health issues. So you might start to notice that some of those kind of form on each other. And then start to just pick, maybe you can have as many as you want. Again, you can blend those into one vision board, or you can make separate ones for each one of those that are important for you. Okay. So choosing that theme, again, what's important or which ones you want. When we start to build that, because we want to start to get now really into how to build a vision board. There's two ways we're going to talk about it tonight. Now, we can do it on paper. So you can do it on just a small paper. I like the smaller ones instead of, you can get a giant one. I just don't like so much space on my wall and things around. And I like just regular paper here. And you can get a little, photo paper if you like, because it's small enough to put in my workspace so that I can pin it up and I can see it all the time, but it's not overcrowding to where, I feel it's a little disorganized. So I like the smaller ones, but you can get any size you like. And the second option is on the computer. So on your computer, let me see if I can share my screen. We're going to go into, into your Word. So as you can see, I made this one. This is kind of a long-term one for me. So you can just go into a document, excuse me, and a blank document. And from there, you can start to build it. And you can even change the landscape. I turn mine sideways. You can make it how you want. And then from there, you'll start to add pictures, and we'll go through that process. But for this one, I like on the computer as well for my long-term goals, because then you save it as a high quality image, and then you can use it as your screensaver. So therefore, you're looking at it all the time, right? And so with that one, it's pretty simple. We're just going to go into our Google, and then from there, you'll Google pictures. So for me, I Googled marriage, right? That was one of mine, communication. And I think that's even a long-term goal, right? Is to always build that. And then looking for images. And when you're looking for images, you want to find some that are really meaningful. Don't just pick the random ones. Like, pick ones that really feel real. They really feel inspiring. Like, I picked the one with the ring, and the Bible, right? So it's, again, ones that really inspire you when you look at them. And let's go back to that Word document. There we go. From there, and then again, you'll just pick it. You'll go to your picture, you'll click on it, and you will copy image, and then you paste it on your Word. And when you're doing the digital ones, when you're on here, now I don't know how it is for MacBooks and stuff, but when you're on, if you click on the picture, if you right click, it'll come up and you'll see wrap text. and you'll click on wrap text, and I do in front of text. And then that allows me to move the image wherever I'd like to move it, right? And you can even go into different designs. You can start to even just, you can draw on it. You can bring, pictures on there. You can open up a box for words. I just put, words that I found that were inspiring, that were here. You can see for me, I have some long-term goals. This is where I volunteer, and that's important for me. Healing is important long-term, right? I was a dancer, so for me, maintaining that love, right? So just seeing different things for the long term. And again, make it about 10 images. Don't overcrowd it with so many images that you kind of get lost, right? Like really break down as simple as you can, as simple as it can, because then it's not so overwhelming. And again, you can add other words, fonts, things like that. And then save it to your documents. You can even save it and have it printed out and frame it, right? Again, I like both. So I have that one for my long-term ones. And then I have my paper one for my more short-term one. So this is a final piece. This is my kind of 2021 health one. So this is more for me, my physical kind of health. And as you can see, of course, I'm stress management. So breathing is always important. It's the most important. Once again, dancing, and notice how, for me, I picked this yoga. I teach yoga. I've been doing this for a long time. It's a big passion of mine. But I also picked because it said the leadership issue, and being a leader and, really paving the way is something that is, I strive to do. And even this year, I want to do even a little bit more, right? And again, you'll see some words. I put strength and flexibility, and this means even, for me, that's going to say this strength and flexibility is even for my life. Like, can I find flexibility when things get chaotic? Can I find strength in also in chaos in different situations? Being flexible and strong. So that to me represented just a mindset. So when I see that, I can just say, yes, I can be flexible. I can be strong, right? And then I am a leader. And you see books like constantly learning. It's a reminder that, I have a goal of how many books a year I want to read. And that's a reminder, don't stop. We get sidetracked, we start doing really good, and then we fall off. So this is the reminder, pick those books up, right? You love it once you do it. And again, this is also my reminder of being flexible, even in the rain. And then, I want to be more plant-based. And I mean that by less processed, like more whole foods than, even letting go of bread, things like that, right? So just a reminder, you can do it. Like it's doable. And look at that delicious meal. It's all plant-based, right? Again, finding different things that work for you. And then this one I put in my workspace on the wall. It's right when I look up, I can see it. And it's just a gentle reminder. And it's nice too, because sometimes we kind of lose our gratitude towards our goals, towards our ability to really succeed at them. And then we notice that things do start to fall apart when we lose the gratitude. And so having that visual and those positive parts of it, those affirmations, those words, it really puts us back into that sense of joy to move towards our goals instead of dragging our feet a little bit, because we all need inspiration, right? So, and the best way for when you're making these paper ones is get magazines, markers. I've got yoga journals, Time magazines, right? I've even got some Sports Illustrated, Mayo Clinic, right? So it's whatever magazines, you're going to have different, everyone's different for what they're interested in. Pick up some magazines, or maybe you have some old ones. And again, just start to flip through that and looking at those goals. What does that look like, right? Is there something that represents that in this magazine? Can you write the words, or again, clip out the words? And I just use really simple Elmer's glue, right? Any kind of stick glue. And then you glue it on the paper. Again, you don't really need more than 10 images, and pin it up, or you can frame that one as well. Again, it's what works for you. And you can make multiple ones of those. You can do your career one, you can do your health one, you can do your relationship one, and put them in different places. You know, where are the places that maybe you lose focus on those areas the most? Put them there. You know, maybe when you're working, have a work one in your office. You know, maybe the fridge or somewhere is where you want to avoid. For me, it's the sugars, you know, having that there when I can see that when I'm going, you know, for those processed foods. Here's my vision board. And don't just glance at the vision board, right? You really want to look at the vision board. You really want to spend time with it, you know, gaze into a little bit, make it like a little meditation where you really just focus in there and you really absorb not just the results, but absorb the process. Like, what does that process look like? Because that's where the success comes from, is the process to the results, right? So really meditate and gaze into those vision boards, seeing yourself working through the process to the results, right? And color matters. If maybe you're really under a lot of stress and your goal is to um, like have a little bit more settling in your life, use, you know, maybe cool things and settling things. If you're looking for more strength and confidence, looking for colors like red and orange, you know, yellow, like things more vitality. And then again, softer colors, maybe blues and things like that, greens for feeling a little bit more calm. Excuse me. Um, and you can even, if you wanted, put your picture in the middle of it so you can see yourself, if that helps you visualize a little bit more. You can put a picture of your family in there if that is more inspiring, right? So again, as you gaze and you meditate and you focus on that vision board, you have all the things you need, the accomplishments, put, you know, again, your family, whatever it is there. So it's not just, oh, this is what I have to do. No, look what I've already done and look where I get to go, right? So see both, make it really powerful for you. Now place it where you're going to see it, right? I said that before. Place it where you're going to see it. Don't just put it in the closet or to the side, like really put it up, right? And again, that's why I like those little ones, because they follow, they're doable to put up. And it's not, again, no false promises, okay? Vision boards aren't a do-all, a be-all to achieve every goal, because in order to achieve a goal, you have to be able to work on that goal, right? You have to put in work. And that's why sometimes vision boards can kind of fall off and we don't stick to them, is because we have this vision, but maybe we're not necessarily breaking down the process to that vision. And so this is where I think the power comes in. Now, I used to always laugh at one of my coworkers. She was an absolute scheduling fanatic, and it would just crack me up. But now I really understand, and I live by this little journal. So I got this, you know, just got it at a dollar store. And what I like about this is a planner that has no dates, right? It has no dates on it. So I get to schedule in all the dates. So you don't have to have one, right? I just like it because you never know when you're going to start in the middle of the year, right? And then the calendar's only a 6-month calendar. So I like it that I think it's like 18 months or something like that. And I can write it in. And I always write with pencil. I always write with pencil because, you know, we have to be flexible. Things change, right? Things kind of get chaotic and maybe we need to adapt our goal a little bit. But what I like about this is not only does it have, this is the month, right? But it has every week. So then it breaks it down from morning, afternoon to night. It even has goals and notes. right? So you can see, I'll see all my craziness. You can see where you can really plan out your week. And you can start to, with the full month one, okay, right in that full month, okay, what is my goal for this month? Like my starting month, right? How can I start to work towards that? So if it's weight loss, okay, I have to lose, 2 pounds this month, right? Something like that, or 10 pounds this month, something like that. Write that down. Or it's to meet 5 new people, right? However that is important for you. If it's to have more conversations, deeper conversations with your spouse. So breaking down the bigger goals. So how do you break the bigger goals down? So break them down into months. Okay, so we're going to go 2021. So can you break down the big goal in every month, what it's going to take, right? What needs to be accomplished? And then you have your weekly schedule. And you don't have to be as scheduling as crazy as I was. At one point, you could see I wrote down everything, even studying. My goal was to accomplish 12 certifications in 1 year. So I wrote down every week here, I would set a goal for how many pages or how much work I would do in each one of those. And I would pick so many I would work on each month. And so, okay, these are the 3 or 4 or 5 I'm going to work on this month. And then I broke it down. Okay, these are the times that I did each one, right? So then I might study for 2 hours in my cancer studies, right? I might do my yoga therapy studies for another 4 hours on a different day. So I would just schedule that in. And sometimes I would write the goal, like I would actually plan it out. I'll allot this day to this day to this day. And I got really organized, and that was good. And then some weeks it was what I felt like doing, and I just wrote what I did. But I would just set that bigger week goal. So as you have your month, can you break down it to weeks? So each week, the first week, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to the gym? Are you going to work out at home, 3 times a week? Okay, what days are you going to do that, right? So then you can break it down to the days, right? What meals are you going to eat? That might be important for you, planning your meals. So what am I going to eat these days? Do I need to go to the grocery store? So can you break down those goals even smaller? Because again, this is where the magic happens. The vision board is our inspiration. The vision board is what keeps us focused on these goals that we break down, right? So start to break that down. Again, we're going to go year, month, weeks, and then you can go to days. You don't have to go to days. Again, I like to make sure I know what I'm doing each day to keep that focus and that drive going on. And then, again, I like that it's pencil, because maybe one week I said I'm going to do, I don't know, 3 modules in this one. And then I got to that week and I was like, I don't want to do that. This is a real life story. I don't want to read that this week. And so I chose something else, and I focused only on that other one, right? And because that one I felt was more enjoyable, and I was still doing something to work towards my goal, but it wasn't what I initially set, but I could adjust that. So again, I was still making progress, but I just adapted that progress a little bit to kind of fit where I was in that day. So I didn't have to get so disgruntled about it, right? So finding, can you be flexible with your goals? Can you find ways to enjoy it? Like, you know what? Maybe this. Like, I'm not going to run today, but maybe I'll row today. I'm not going to eat the salad, but I'll eat, I'll eat sauteed vegetables with, brown rice. I want something more hearty. So be adaptable with your goals. And again, that's why I like the pencil. I'm a stickler for pencil, because I like to be able to, again, be flexible and change if needed to be, right? And pen is just so permanent. Yeah, breaking those down, and then again, honoring that, and honoring the weeks that you're tired, you've worked really hard, honor that. And then those are the times maybe you start to just focus on the vision board and finding that meditation for the vision board, like, to get that inspiration back, right? Now the visualizing the process, just really, again, finding uh, that that gratitude, finding that's special to you, right? And then continuing to work towards it. And if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't always, maybe you got mostly there, then when you start next year's, you know where it's your, you have more focus, you understand more, and it gets better and better. So the more you start to really use these processes of finding organization and visualization, you begin to get better at really diving in and honing in on that focus of where you want to go with things. And then eventually, maybe you don't even need a vision board. I think Oprah Winfrey on the Wrinkle of Time said, I don't even use vision boards anymore, right? I just see my goals and my dreams, and I just do it. So hopefully we can all be that great at just diving in. But maybe that's hard. So this is a way that we are easily be able to see those goals and hold on to those goals and go for them, right? Because this is a new year. Things have been so hectic, and why not start now? Why not just get curious and go, what would it hurt? What would it hurt if I just made a vision board for this, for one thing, right? Maybe one thing. Maybe it's to be sugar free or one thing, right? One goal, one achievement. And then just started to, what would happen? What would happen if I organized just a little bit, right? Let me try it out, see what happens. So as you get a little curious with openness, without, again, gratitude and just being open to the process, the ups and the downs, you'll find that it's just really a fun process. And in the end, you've achieved so much more than you really think, right? So I know that for me during 2020, I didn't necessarily do a vision board, but I did a a whole organized calendar. So I organized my goal for the whole year in my calendar and really stuck to that. And there was such a battle. I mean, it was such a battle. There was days where, I wouldn't even look at that thing. I would avoid it, right? And then coming back to that and then diving even more in and just laughing about those times when you're battling yourself, like, I don't want to do this, and laugh at that. Maybe journal that down a little bit. That's a really good way as well to think about and see where your mind is on the different days as you go through this. So you'll see I have also my little journal here. I have where I don't necessarily journal every day, but when I find myself in those moments of either pure bliss where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so amazing. I'm the amazing person in the world. And then those days where you're, you're just angry, not really angry, but just, I don't want to do anything. You want to rebel against yourself. You're like, I'm going to rebel against my own accomplishments, like my own goals, right? Journal that down and let your hand just freely write and go and see kind of what comes out of that. Like, again, find curiosity with yourself. Why am I why am I battling and rebelling against myself? I set these goals and yet I'm, getting frustrated. So again, journal that and see where it comes from. It might be really funny and interesting when you go, oh, that's why I'm feeling that. This is stemming from this, whether it could have been a disagreement earlier with someone and it showed up there, whether it was, something from your past where you're like, oh, wow, look what happens. Like, every time I start to get successful, I sabotage myself, right? So when you journal with the vision boards, you can even start to see where you can break some of those cycles, those patterns that we develop, wherever we develop them, right, throughout our lives, to really break some of those. And that is empowering when you can really visualize, achieve a goal, and break down a barrier within yourself. That's such a powerful moment. I mean, really, truly powerful. So I hope you really enjoyed this talk about vision boards. It's really a simple concept. It's find beautiful pictures that inspire you, find words, and create a collage that focuses those goals, right? So using those beautiful pictures and those words that are that are powerful to the goals that you have. Visualize it and work towards it, right? Do it both. Don't just work redundantly in misery, like work and visualize and embrace and truly open your heart to the process of growing and finding change within yourself, right? And again, that curiosity, when we can, instead of acting like it's a chore and acting like it's an adventure, or not acting, like stepping into it as an adventure within yourself. What can I pull out of myself? What is it that I know that I'm capable of? What can I grasp that, this year? How can I get a little bit better within, a little bit more in my in tune with where I'm supposed to go this year? So again, I know this is a little bit of a short video. There's not much to vision boards. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave some comments, what you like. And if you build your vision board, take a picture and post it in the comments so that we can see. You can even maybe tell us about it. You don't have to. If it's personal, you don't have to share either. But if you like, yeah, take a picture, share it, and tell us how it's doing for you. I want to thank you for your time. It was just such an honor to be able to talk about this and share this with you all. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.